You're being heckled with a fly. Okay. I've got a strimmer. Ketan? Ketan? Heckled by me. Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Ketan, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no, it's great to be here. No, thank you for the invite. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Our absolute pleasure. And how are you doing, Carl Horton?
Yep, good. Thank you very much. Not bad at all. I need a hair transplant and a haircut at the same time, I think.
Ketan, could you,
Well,
is this what you do?
I probably need a hair transplant as well, of some sort. But fortunately, I've been at
We
this for many
go-
years now. My wife's got used to it, so she's not hassling me too much. So I'm quite
Oh.
fine with this now.
I was going to say, if we go together, mate, I wonder if they do a discount.
For goodness sake.
I'll let you find out, and you can let me know.
Okay, mate. All right.
Ketan, I've got a feeling that Southern Implants probably wouldn't be able to help you both in that corner.
No, probably not. I mean, we do many things. I think as Graham, our owner, does own Southern Medical as well, which helps deal with sort of heart problems and heart valves and things like that, really. But not hair.
Not hair, not yet.
Not yet.
There you are. Ketan, how long have you been with Southern?
I've been just over 4 years now. So I joined just coming out of COVID in 2021. So we're in February, yeah, even though I kind of knew I was joining sort of at the early part of or late part of 2020. So it's just been over 4 years.
Wow. Okay. I mean, you've just touched upon what Southern do offer. Can you give us a bit of an insight? Because it isn't just implants and obviously the components.
No, I mean, that's one of the things I was surprised about with Southern Implants when I started sort of delving into them is the wide range of solutions that we do for clinicians, having worked in the implant sort of implant world for a number of years, I've kind of been used to straight implants like most other companies do, but yeah, Southern do a range of site-specific implants as well, geared towards straight implants. We're known most notably for our coaxis implants, which have angle correction at the implant platform. And then we also do a range of other solutions, such as inverter implants. We do max implants which are wider diameter implants. We do also then implants that are zygomatics, and also implants going to pterygoids, and also implants that help deal with rhinectomies and auricular cases as well. Extraoral implants as well. So
Quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and it keeps life interesting. And always it's always entertaining seeing customers and cases.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we could probably just talk about a little bit more is in detail, a little bit more about the implants for those that don't sort of understand the intricacies or new to implantology. I mean, when we met, you introduced me to the coaxis and the inverter. And it might be good to maybe talk about the coaxis a little bit in a little bit more detail. So essentially, as I understand it, and as I've used it, when you're sort of placing implants in the anterior maxilla and in the anterior mandible in certain cases, the bone isn't straight. It's at an angle, which means restoratively, when we're placing we call it a conventional implant, not a coaxis implant. That means our screw hole, if we placed it in the form of the root, would be coming out buccally, and we'd see where that screw hole is. Unless we sometimes graft, and then we might have to put something apically because the APCs of that implant is coming out of the bone. But we're not usually blessed with a lot of bone. So we either have to position the implant and go in more politely and then correct it, or we have to do some augmentation. But with the coaxis implant, that's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the great thing about it. Even though coaxis has been out for over 20 years now, a lot of clinicians only hear about it through word of mouth and through speaking to other clinicians, because we're not heavily a marketing company, so a lot of clinicians haven't heard about it. And then the great thing about it is it was originally developed by a prosthodontist and an oral surgeon, Dale Howes and Greg Bose-Varley. And it was always a case of the oral surgeon wanted to place the implant, like you said, wanted to place it, have it surrounded by bone, place it at an angle. And the prosthodontist, Greg, in this case, was always complaining that if you place the implant like that, we're going to have it, it's going to be difficult to restore. So then they approached Graham. Graham Blackbeard's the owner of Southern Implants, and then he's an engineer. Approached him to say, how about if we had an implant which, we could place at an angle, and then you get angle correction at the implant platform, And that's kind of like how the idea came. So the great thing about it is that you can drill just as exactly like you would do with any other implant, drill where you want to place the implant. And you think about most of the morphology in the anterior is curved. So it's a great implant just to be able to drill the way that you want it, place the implant where you want to place it. But then you never need to use angled abutments because you can just place a straight abutment on top. And they come in angle corrections of 12 degrees for internal connections. And then if you decide to use external hex, you get 24 degrees and 36 degrees as well. So it offers great flexibility and a solution for clinicians.
Yeah, it's an interesting implant. I do I do like it. There's certain site specifics. Yeah, nice implant. And the other one that you mentioned was the inverter.
Yeah, so the inverter again. I mean, all our sort of creations of implants were owned by engineers, and the company was formed in 1987, and all our ideas come from clinicians. Really, I think the inverter implant was a idea that came up. There was an idea by Stephen Chu and Dennis Tornow around about sort of 2017, 2018, I think. Most of these ideas, if you ever speak to Graham, our owner, he always tells you that most of these ideas are drawn on tissues at various conferences or meetings or on airplanes and drawn on napkins, and then they kind of develop from there, really. So the inverter's a nice sort of body shift design, which is sort of wider at the apical end and shallower at the coronal part. And that comes in a coaxis option as well. So it allows the clinician, following an immediate extraction in the anterior zone, to place the implant, the wider apical part, into the triangle of bone, and then keep the shallower part away from the buccal plate. So it kind of offers a great solution. And then with the angle correction as well, lots of clinicians like the use of it. Dominic O'Hooley in the UK obviously likes using a lot of inverters, and there's many clinicians out there as well.
Yeah, he certainly does. I've seen many on his Facebook posts. And many other things, which we probably won't go into.
Yeah, we'll stick to the inverters.
Yeah. So, did you say 4 years you've been with Southern?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, so joined in 2021.
Yeah. And what were you doing before that?
So I was working with a company. I've worked many years with a company called, they're called ZimV now, but they used to be Zimmer Biomet, and before that they were Biomet 3i. And before that, even they used to be known as Implant Innovations Incorporated when they first started out. Hence the name 3i, which many people may have sort of heard of. And it's when you look at them and Southern Implants, they have sort of similar backgrounds, really. I think both companies started around 1987. With 3i was formed by Richard Lazara and Keith Beattie. Richard Lazara was a clinician. Keith Beattie was an engineer. And we've got Southern Implants as well. They were formed in 1987 as well. And it's still a family-run business all this time. But the difference is then sort of, I think, moved on in the early 2000s when Richard Lazara sold the company out to Biomet. And then as the years went on, Capital Ventures sort of came in and sort of bought the company as well. And then Zimmer, I think, merged with Biomet sort of around about 2015. And then the company, I think recently as well, they've been spun off a couple of times, and I think recently just been bought out by another sort of marketing sort of company as well, or a healthcare company called Archimed, I think it is. So yeah, they both have similar sort of backgrounds, really. But I worked with Zimmer Biomet or 3i for many, many years. There's a thoroughly enjoyable experience, so, a good company to work for. But as it grew bigger, it kind of like there are more challenges faced by the company. And the nice thing about Southern Implants is it's still a family-run business.
Yeah.
Some of the great things about working with 3i or Biomet 3i in the early years, you can see now in Southern Implants.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You Southern also run courses, Ketan, as well, don't they?
Yeah, no, we run many courses. It kind of all depends on what you're looking for, really. We partner with clinicians. So for those clinicians who are beginning their implant journey and wanting to know about sort of treatment planning, case selection, treating their first patients, and mentorship, we have Michael Tang and Stuart Campbell, who run a course with their Scottish Dental Academy. That's like a year-long module course where you actually get to learn about all the theories behind implant dentistry. But the nice thing about that course, and it's probably a bit different to many of the other courses across the UK, is that you get to actually place implants in sort of patients in the early modules under supervision. So it kind of gets the clinician's hands, wet, so to speak. And also, after they finish the course, they've placed a few implants, and then you obviously have all the follow-up and things as well, and the WhatsApp groups and the further mentorship. So that's one particular course. And then we also have other courses which are aimed more at site-specific. We have clinicians, Ali Varani and Gareth Jones, who run a site-specific course under site-specific implantology. And theirs is they have two courses. One is aimed at people who are looking to get their head around coaxis, max, and inverters. So they have like a 2-day course which involves all the theory behind it, all the tips and tricks, and all the and placing implants on the model for all 3 implant types. And they also run a full arch course as well, which is based at the Cadaver Suite in Coventry. So the first day there is actually learning about full arch treatments, looking at the sort of the case that they have, planning it, although that process does start before the course. But they come along on their day, they have the model already made from the specimen that they'll be placing on the following day, and they get to actually place implants. Some of our coaxis implants, which are like 24, 36 degrees, also implants that go into the pterygoids. And then the next day, and then you go into the cadaver suite and you get to sort of carry out the treatment again, really. And the nice thing about that is that it also offers them the chance to place a provisional at the end of the course. So they've got, they use the latest 3D sort of sprint ray printers and have their technician come into the course as well, and have shining 3D trawl scanners. So you get to place the implants, scan the patients using latest technology, and then get the provisional milled and then place it placed on the second day of the course.
Brilliant opportunity for clinicians wanting to do that, Ketan, isn't it? To be able to actually, you know, do all of that within a few days from start to finish.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a great opportunity. We had the cohort 1 sort of going on the course just a couple of months ago, and they thought it was an exceptional course. So there is another course that they're holding later on this year as well. We have all those courses in the UK. And if that's not enough for you and you want to sort of learn abroad, there's always the opportunity to go to our head offices in Johannesburg or near Johannesburg, where we have a week-long course there as well, where the first couple of days, it's kind of known as our Edge course. And you get to fly out to South Africa, spend a couple of days at the head offices, have a factory tour where you get to meet Graham and ask him all the questions that you wanted to ask owners of these companies before. And then you get to move on to a safari site as well, and then enjoy 3 days worth of treatment planning, as well as enjoying 3 days worth of safari as well.
Sounds awful.
So yeah, exactly. I was fortunate enough to go earlier this year. So, yeah, I have to admit it was hard work. It was, Carl.
Yeah,
Don't know if I believe you.
That's a
South
great
Africa, it's
experience.
beautiful place.
Yeah, no, it's great. All the clinicians who go on it, it only costs around about £2,300 for the week, and to get that experience, you know, for a relatively reasonable cost, is as well as the learning and all the case selections and things that go on. I mean, the treatment planning days, you think it will finish early because people are more interested in going on to safaris, but they actually do continue. Discussions continue long into the afternoon and things as well. So, where each clinician has a different way of a view on treating the patient.
Well, it's nice to bounce off each other, isn't it, as well, when you've got a group of people, like-minded people. It's great to be able to bounce ideas and thoughts off each other. So
No, I'm yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I mean, hear all the different opinions, and I'm sure Carl's probably had this in sessions where he's discussed cases and things with clinicians as well, and it's probably one of your probably favourite things, I imagine, just when you get to discuss different scenarios and different options and stuff for patients.
Oh yeah, I mean, it makes your brain work. You know, it's always good to hear somebody else's viewpoint about a case, I think.
Yeah.
Because you put, as we've heard many times, put 10 dentists in a room with one particular case and you get 10 different opinions on.
Yeah, no.
That's because we all work slightly differently. You know, it's very individual. They're all usually correct.
They're all correct, and there's just be different ways of doing things, aren't there, really? And obviously the different treatment option, different treatment times, and different ways of going about things. I mean, that's one thing you kind of realize. I guess you probably feel as well as an experienced clinician, the longer that you're offering implant treatments, probably more you're feeling that you probably less you know. I think when you first start, you think you know everything, and you think, great, I'll learn this, and then you do more and more cases, and you think, hold on a second, do I know as much as I do? And obviously you do, but you almost feel sometimes that there's still a lot to learn out there.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Ketan, do you have a specific area that you look after, or you're all over?
Yeah, no, so I look after the Midlands areas, yeah. So I live in Leicester and I look after sort of Birmingham, going out to sort of Mid Wales and coming all the way back out to Cambridgeshire.
Okay.
And probably furthest north I go is Lincolnshire, and then sort of head down to Northamptonshire, sort of Bedfordshire and Cambridgeshire way. So so it is quite a large area, but
It
the nice
is.
thing is I live slap bang in the centre of it. So the furthest drive I have is probably a couple of hours east or west, or probably more west actually. But east isn't so bad. But the nice thing is that I get home on an evening, so
Yes.
it's not too many nights away, and so as well.
And you obviously enjoy what you do, Ketan. I mean, you've stayed within the industry, albeit with a different company. You obviously enjoy it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Yeah, no, it's always fantastic to sort of meet clinicians, over the years. Now you sort of build friendships with customers and also non-customers as well.
Yeah.
You sort of meet people regularly at conferences and even pop into their practices when you're out and about as well. And it's always nice to sort of catch up with customers and non-customers and see what they're up to as well. It's just a great it's a great industry to be involved in. Always changing, and the evolution that goes on as well, and some things swing back to how they used to be 20 years ago. But
And what's good, I've picked up, well, we know because obviously you've been with us on one of our cases, but that must be nice as well. Not just seeing the clinicians as customers and different things in the teams, but you're going in and you're seeing the patients as well with some of the treatments.
yeah, and I think that's one of the best things there. One of the biggest things I noticed from working with Southern Implants compared to the previous company was the fact that we're encouraged to go in and attend cases as much as we can, really. And obviously, such as the wide breadth of sort of cases that we have as well, it's important to be attending cases. From helping the clinicians starting out on their journey with their single tooth cases to more so with the full arch cases as well. And it's not only just, as I said, in dental practices, we attend cases in hospitals as well for auricular cases, anectomies and things as well, and theatres and things, and see zygomatics and stuff, being placed as well, and just seeing the difference you can make to some of these patients. It was really an eye opener when you first go into the theatres and sort of seeing ears and things being, or patients without ears on, and then you're seeing a couple of implants being put in, and then having seen the art and craft of the people in the lab that work there, creating sort of ears and stuff, which is so realistic and life changing. So it's just great to go to cases and sort of and see what difference it makes to patients.
When we talk about what's the difference between the implants that we're using and the implants when you're doing the rhinectomy? And
the surface and everything's still the same, and they're still made out of commercial titanium. But the biggest difference is the lengths. They tend to be shorter, 3-4 mil lengths for the auricular cases, and also for the rhinectomies as well. So there's a shorter in length, and they obviously come with different instrumentation and with the shorter drills and things as well. So it is just a case of the implants just being a lot shorter and wider. But the most common diameters used are 4 millimeters. So it's not they're not like as wide as some of our max implants, which are 6, 7, 8, 9 implants, which are used in the molar region. They're there's normal 4 millimeters, but shorter in 4 millimeter lengths.
And I mean, you might not be able to answer this, and I'm just curious. What's the failure rate like? Is it about 96, 98% as well? Or is it lower, higher?
I assume so. I mean, normally the bone there is pretty good. So I mean, the cases I've attended, I've not heard of any sort of or in hospitals that we deal with, we've not heard of any. I've not heard of any cases anywhere. People are getting back in touch with us to say, oh, implants have failed and things like that. Really. So I don't know if the bone is obviously very different. I mean, bone is very different there.
It's the environment I was thinking about, because you've not got same bacteria. It's very different bacteria.
Yeah, that one would be probably.
Yeah,
question to give to the clinical.
You put my brain down a different mode, and it's one I'd be interested to. I'll probably just don't worry, Ketan.
Sure, you probably know enough people out Birmingham. We could probably ask the question to.
Yeah, I mean it's so high anyway, isn't it? When we're looking at oral implants, dental implants, success rate is huge. And I mean the thing about the Southern as well. You mentioned it there about the grade 4 titanium. but there's a difference that you have with the southern ones in the way they're processed.
The titanium tends to get cold work, so it gets sent off to a foundry before even any sort even before it's blasted with our alumina particles, and that process is sort of allows the titanium to be sort of stretched, which makes it sort of stronger. So the tensile strength is a lot more. It's over 920 megapascals, a lot more than other companies who just have commercial pure titaniums. And that's why I think we're allowed to or we have a range of solutions available out there, which are used in a number of ways around the mouth, just because of the way that that titanium is processed.
We were using a slightly different implant in our recent case, weren't we, with the full arch?
Yeah, so even after going through all those sort of site-specific implants on the range that we do for more advanced techniques and treatments, we've recently come out with a single platform implant as well, which is what most clinicians will be used to who are starting out on their implant journey, and that's just a regular sort of 3.5, 4.5, 5 millimeter, on a 4 millimeter implant, and that has a single restorative platform, which makes it easy for the clinicians to restore and sort of reduce their inventory and just use the same restorative components, whether it's the cover screw, healing abutment, impression copings, and the abutments for that particular implant type.
And the collar was slightly different as well, wasn't it? Where we're using now.
So the collar, so the collar does have a machined surface coronal part. So it has the first 3 millimeters of the implant is a machined surface, very similar to some of our external hex implants that we have that are used particularly for full arch cases. It's an implant that's probably taken all the sort of nicer things out of all our innovations over the years, and is now sort of moved over to develop for this implant really. So it has a machined surface as well, and it has sort of threads, which I'm sure you probably appreciate as well, which has a sort of it allows for strong insertion torque as well when you're placing the implants, and also a smaller, nicer kit as well in terms of it's easier to use.
Yeah, it was very nice, very nice.
Very neat.
What do you like about it then, Carl?
Yeah, it was very straightforward. I mean, I've used a few implant systems over the years, so I've got some kind of familiarity with how they work, but that one was compact, so very nice, really straightforward workflow, nice implant. I'm interested to sort of see that tissue response.
Yeah.
And I like the theory of it. It sits right logically, so I mean, that's what the initial implants were like, weren't they? They were all machine polished.
Yeah.
Which has that nice soft tissue response. They respond better to it. So if we do lose a little bit of bone even when we placed our implant, and that's the way that the tissues adapt. We get a little bit of bone loss, and then how that tissue responds to that is quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that kind of pans out, short term and long term. But
it'd be great to see it with the clinicians who've used it thus far. They've all enjoyed it, and we've all thought it's a nice implant to use. So yeah, I'm sure over the coming months you'll have good results.
Yeah,
touch wood anyway.
The movement, the positioning we could put on with the multi-unit abutment as well, that was quite nice. So it was easy to place it, and when I didn't put it in the perfect position on the first time, it was easy to put it in the perfect position. Just to take one turn, and it was in the right place, and that was nice. But you could see it all on the camera, couldn't you? So when I was getting in focus, when I wasn't using my eyes and I was using my loops.
No, it's a great setup you have there. That made it definitely easier to sort of see the surgery as well. Just having that. Do you tend to use that for most surgeries?
I've started to, yeah. So that was in the early days when you were seeing it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm doing sometimes is I'm looking through the loops, which is where the camera's perfect, and then I'll look down over the top, so you get a good view of my scrubs.
Yeah. That's always the thing with clinicians looking down the loops. You always think that they're looking towards you,
Yes.
and they're kind of like got their head
with the ergo loop.
thinking,
Yeah.
oh, they got a question for me, and they kind of realize they're looking over the patient is okay.
Yeah. I do remember teaching a student the first time, and they got ergo loops, and it really confused me because exactly that. They were looking at me, and I kept saying, "Everything all right?"
Yeah.
And then eventually, after about 5 minutes, he explained to me that he'd got these new style loops. And I think they're great. I mean, they keep their neck straight, don't they? But That's another podcast.
Another podcast together. But it is a good way to see surgery. I do agree, Ketan. A very good way.
Yeah, definitely. You want to keep using that more and more, I think.
I bet you do enjoy that side, do you, Ketan, though, getting in there and actually seeing the surgical work?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like one of the added sort of benefits that we give to sort of clinicians or do offer as well, just coming on surgeries. It's a great way to build relationships with the customers
Very much.
as well, or with the clinicians as well. Because we look to build long-term relationships with clinicians and not just have sort of, one visit, sell some implants and things like that, and then sort of and not go and see them again for a while and sort of leave them to it. We look to help clinicians with their cases as much as we can, attend surgeries and things as well, and obviously help their staff as well.
Yes.
The nursing staff and things, if they need help with any form of education in terms of just knowing a bit more about implants or helping out with our sort of stocks and things as well, and helping out with product codes, because we do have a number of connections and implant designs as well, and just helping them get their heads around everything as well. And because most clinicians, even though we have the full wide range, will stick to a particular type of implant and stick to using that. So it's not as complicated as people first would think with the array of solutions that we have. So
it's a good support partnership.
Yeah, no, exactly. We look to partner. I mean, we and the nice thing about the rest of the Southern team as well, many of the team have been here many years. Some have owned labs and things in South Africa, so we can always call upon their sort of expertise as well to help out with particular cases and things as well. So, but we we are encouraged to attend as many cases as possible, really.
Yeah, I think it's good for you guys to see that side though as well, if you know what I mean.
No, definitely. Just seeing the amount of things that are different to what you anticipate things to be in terms of surgery, and then seeing how you can sort of react to it and sort of be able to sort of still find a nice solution, and obviously help the clinician as well when they've got 101 things to think about and thinking about the patient as well. Just say no, try the little instrument to the left of that, or that drills at 3 millimeters.
Very good.
So okay, you need to loosen it. Maybe use that torque wrench, and there's the square wrench insert will fit onto the square mount, and just things like that, really. So it can just make surgery a sort of smoother.
You say you've got obviously there's quite a few people that work with Southern. I'm going to give a personal shout out to one of them, because over the years she's been very helpful to us. So I'm going to say a big shout out to Nadine. She's been very, very helpful.
Oh yeah, she looks after the office. She's our sort of looks after the customer services team actually.
Yeah.
In the office, we've just recently moved to a new offices in Twickenham, so she should be really chuffed about that. So I'll definitely pass on the shout out there.
Absolutely, she's always been very, very helpful.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that we aim to do as well. We have some great people in the office as well. I've been here for many years, Kerry, Joe, and some of the newer people as well, or look to pick up the phones really quickly or respond to emails and sort of take orders and make sure customers have what they need.
Yeah, well, it's a good teamwork, isn't it? One can't work without the other. So
yeah, no, exactly, pretty much like you two, I guess.
Very true indeed. Don't even think about it. I can see that comedy light.
I know what you mean. I know what.
Well, gentlemen, unless there's anything else, we should let Ketan...
I have got one little question. Your journeys, 2 hours. What do you do in those 2 hours? You're listening to audiobooks, music?
Well, kind of probably a bit of all of them, really. It's obviously a beautiful drive, and you kind of don't want to be looking too much left and right, because you obviously want to be concentrating on the road as well with all those country lanes out there. But it is a mix, actually. Yeah, sometimes I'll listen to music, other times I'll be listening to the radio. I'm a particular sports fan as well, so I kind of like tune into talk sport and things like that as well. Sorry?
Leicester City?
Leicester, no, actually for Liverpool, actually. So just growing up in the early 80s, I think.
Yeah.
We will probably describe me as a glory hunter, but
she's a Liverpool fan.
Excellent.
No, I am not. I am a Tottenham fan.
Okay, so could be worse. You could have said Man U, but anyway, so that's good. Yeah, no, Tottenham's fine. So yeah, no, it's and sometimes you have pit stops along the way as well. I try to stop back and stop by and see other clinicians as well on the way. So it's always anytime you want me out there, just please let me know, and I'm more than happy. It's always a beautiful drive out there.
It is. It is.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Ketan, as always, been a pleasure.
Always.
Thanks for inviting me. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you again both very soon.
Absolutely.
great.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.